Hello and welcome to another episode of Scott Schilling Speaks. I'm your host, Scott Schilling, and today is Tech Talk Tuesday. So with me, my tech guest, Lorenzo Hickey. Lorenzo, what are we
Hey,
talking about
Scotty. Well, we're talking about life in general, and then we throw some tech in there too.
Awesome. So uh, on these Tech Talk Tuesdays, we like to let everybody know of the things that are available through Elevate JV Global. Partnership that you and I have formed to make sure that people have what they need to simplify their life, their business, gain some time back in their world, and maybe just to learn about something that they haven't heard about somewhere else. So, what are we talking about today?
Well, today, interestingly enough, is about how to organize yourself using a project management tool. I have been very blessed over my software career to work with several, in fact, if not all the leading project management tools. And one of the things that, Scott, when we talk about Tech Talk Tuesdays, is how do we actually create efficiencies and do something that's simple and easy to use. And so our job, our role, our vision is to give you the best of opportunities, the best tools, where we've already sort of done all that hard work. We've cut our teeth.
All the vetting, all the testing out, all the kicking the tire.
Exactly. So one of the things that I have used, and there's several project management tools out there, and there's some really best of breed scenarios. But one of the things that you look for in any kind of a tool is, can it be available to me mobily? Can it be available to me on a desktop? And if it's available to me on those two platforms, then that's the first win. And then the second win is, what's the price point? So I'm going to give you a weird analogy. You probably like to drink something, some sort of libation, right? So one of the things that we look at, and believe it or not, I take this methodology to heart. And that is the idea of finding the best price value,
right?
For example, a bottle of wine. So I don't know if you've ever done wine tasting, but they're a little off topic, but we used to do this thing called the Grateful Reds. And in the Grateful Reds, it was once a month on a Thursday, and we would wine taste, and we'd pick 9 different bottles of wine, all typically in the genre of a red, like a Cab or a Merlot or whatever. And so who thought you'd go to Tech Talk Tuesday talking about drinking, but here's where we are. So, but in life, methodologies and processes that you go through can be replicated. And in the case of this wine drinking, what we did is they were blind taste testing. So we would go through each of the, have a sip, just like you go out, and like for those of you who have done wine tasting, you know what I'm talking about. We'd go out and we'd sip it, and then we'd taste it, and we'd talk about it. We say, all right, well, what's the best thing about it? What are the best features? What are the best things that we like? What does it smell? And there's the five S's smells, all these different that you look, smell, taste, sight, and all the stuff in Southern wine. So I do the same thing in software selection. We look at it, we touch it, we feel it, we figure out what makes sense, and then we look at what's the best price value. So the rating system on wine gives you a one way to rate, just like in Be Connected, we have the 5-star rating,
right?
And then also inside of the rating system that we went through in the wine system was to also then say, well, what was the price value? And so we would pick the best wine, and then we would do a rating, and then we would go back and say, oh, this is really good. And they go, and we say, and this one was so good, and the price was anywhere from $5 to $10 a bottle. And this is, premium kind of wine. So it wasn't just like sort of the box wines that you might think of that are cheaper, but right. Wine is a tasteful thing. Anyway, long story short, people are joining us like, who the heck are, what are they talking about?
How is this Tech Talk Tuesday?
But the point of the story is this, it's really simple, is what we're doing is just simply sharing that the methodology for selection and testing and reviewing, whether it's wine or software, it's kind of the same process. I don't know, Scott, have you thought about that and something that you do, and does it interrelate to testing and process?
Yeah, absolutely. I test statements, I test concepts, I test things all the time to gauge the reaction. Was just talking to the CEO of Be Connected a little bit earlier, and we were talking about, I said, I'm going to make a second round of calls to a certain set of people, and I'm going to approach it differently than I did last time to gauge response. So absolutely, we're always testing.
Yeah, exactly. So we're always testing. So what we have done in the project management world, I actually started a software company that was called ProAmix back in the day. We ended up selling and merging it with another company. But in terms of project management, there's a lot of aspects that you're looking for. And in this case, what I've been mostly looking for is ability to take tasks and activities and take them through a flow. At the same time, build it to actually very easily create a bunch of tasks and activities. So the criteria that we're looking at in project management. So it's about project and moving things through a flow or a process. So I'll give you an example. One of our clients is very interested in building speaker sheets. Have you ever spoke anywhere, Scott?
Yeah, a few places.
Are you familiar with the concept of a speaker one sheet?
Right? Absolutely.
It's kind of like a resume, right?
Your humble brag.
Is exactly. So it's your humble brag. So can you imagine the idea of being able to create not only speaker sheets for just yourself, but hundreds of other speakers?
Right? Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that would require some sort of system or solution to do that.
Right.
So here's what in the many things that we've looked at is some of the additional tasting attributes that we're looking for in software. And one of them is the ability to create forms and upload data and manage that data as well as the projects, right? So what we have basically crafted is a need to do all of these things. So if this applies to you, right? If you're listening and you're watching and you're watching the replay and you have a need to have a project where you have tasks and activities, you have a project where you need to assign people or resources, right? So, people have to get stuff done and we don't always do it ourselves. Even though many of you are solopreneurs, the fact of the matter is you don't always want to do it by yourself. So it's nice to have other people to help you.
Nice to have friends.
Nice to have friends, right? And then the other thing that we needed to be able to think about is how do we then take something through a flow, right? So step 1, step 2, step 3. Right? Because you don't just say, all right, I'll put it all in one eggs in one basket and start not doing that. So we go through the flow process. So we have resource allocation. Now we have the ability to create tasks or activities. We have the ability to onboard forms. And then we have the ability to then communicate. How cool would this be to communicate with your customers with messaging and give them access to the project? So you have different levels of security.
Nice.
Okay. So what I'm basically describing is in simple terms, is a tool that lets you run a business, operate tasks and activities, connect with your clients, share information, and give them the information ability to upload or create their own information at the same time. So let's walk through something that let's see what it looks like. So how about I share my screen and we'll talk about all those elements, right? Because I wanted the audience initially to listen and think through this. I wanted to have all the audience think about how and what it is I need to do. Because when you're doing software selection and software engagement, you got to start with the end in mind.
Right.
So I don't know, you've heard me say, for those who watched these shows in the past, I'm a recovering accountant. So that means I'm always looking to account.
I like stuff on.
I like this. Does this feel a lot like Excel? Does this feel a lot like accounting? Calling the T accounting, right? Where you'll cross the T and you put stuff to the left and right, debits and credits, right? It feels a lot like debits and credits. So yes, of course, I'm biased with that look and feel, but that's not the point. So here's an example. So right now we're seeing a desktop and we're seeing a couple things. One is I have multiple, here's our Elevate JV Global, right? That looks familiar, sounds familiar. We talked about that. So in Elevate JV Global, we have different things. Believe it or not, I'm actually running a project for my golf outing. Sorry, Scott. But I also have this concept of speaker one sheets. And I also have this master client onboarding. So what I want to just share with this as an example is the idea that when you look at the tool set and you always start kind of left to right, top down, right? So if I look at left to right, this opportunity lets me change my screen size and pick the right companies. And I'm looking at multiple companies. So this product, number one, lets me have multiple departments, divisions, or companies. All right, so check that box, right? The other thing is it lets me specifically manage projects and have specific projects details, but I can also copy and create templates and archives. So imagine you had something you did over and over, rinse and repeat, I like to call it. Yeah. And that was great. Well, why not take a project structure and turn it into a template? Like I know somebody's going to be super excited when they watch this because this is just the coolest thing ever. So now I can take something I built and turn it into a template. I can also copy it and move it, right? Archive it.
Very nice.
So those are all things that are important. When I look at the top down and I look at the project here, I'm in master onboarding and I look at activity, I can see activity that I've gone. So this is actually showing interaction or engagement with activity through using the tool. I also have the ability to look at all the tasks or activities that are here. Often this is referred to as what we call a Kanban board, right? So just a project board. But now this is the project board, but I can look at that same project board if I look at the submenu here by dates and calendars and listings and map, right? So you now get different views of all of your tasks and activities.
Very nice.
Across the board. Now I can also look at this menu across the top where I have discussions and discussion threads. Not a lot of discussion threads here because it's a project that we're just building, updates or tasks or activities from other folks, or files. And so I can upload files or I can create forms. So I'm going to go into an example of that where I have add people into the system. So here's a couple people on this project. So this is all tied to one project. So if I look at my speaker one sheet, which is how we started talking about this, we said, all right, I need to create a flow. And what I need to create a flow is around a form. And so when we're onboarding forms, we have, again, we're work in process here. We're creating this idea of creating a form, and this form becomes something that where we put data in, make it available. And then in this next iteration of this, we're going to be able to upload images and pictures and files. Okay, so let's take a hold on and stop about that for a second. If you have a project where you have lots of data, lots of information, and lots of files, right? Lots of files. So the reason that we're talking about Blue today, so we'll take a step back. I was talking to the founder. He's over in Italy, right? He's from the South Australia area, South East Asia Pacific area, and he's in Italy and he's working. And I'm talking to him and he's saying, oh my gosh, here's what we're doing. Not only are we going to have the opportunity to make this available through our clients in Elevate JV Global for a discount, Scott, by the way. I just negotiated that today, a discount. And not only just sort of a discount, can I say this out loud? A 50% discount?
That's huge.
That's huge. That's what Elevate JV Global is all about. So here I am talking to somebody on our behalf, our mutual behalf, our client's behalf. And so what he was telling me is that the ability to have forms and information is becoming available in the next week. And then the ability to have folders and subfolders. Okay. So like, this is breaking news. Here I am talking to the founder of the company. And that's the kind of relationships that Scott has and that we're bringing to the table. Right. So what's fun about that is I'm showing all this, I'm telling him my desires, and he's going, oh, this is cool. And he goes, this is what you're going to have in the next week. Like, wow. All right, because they're constantly developing, right? And how software companies constantly develop is that we people like ourselves say, hey, we need this, this, and this. And what I told this guy, his name is Manny. I said, Manny, I've known him for about 9 months. And I said, everything I've asked for, you guys have built.
Yeah.
Okay. Why is that important to you, to the audience, and important to people that are listening to us? Is because when we're doing work and creating relationships, right, under Elevate JV Global, where we have a global footprint. Like I said, this is a global company, global project management company. What we're doing is we're creating relationships, and we, because of our influence and because of our, what'd you say back to last show, mature experience?
Yeah, that's right. Our mature
because of our maturity.
It just means we've been doing it for a long time.
Right. Because of our maturity, we actually have the ability to ask for things. And because we can do that. So here we are back to, for those of you who are joining us for the first time, are kind of in line. We're looking at a project tool that lets me create forms and activities and upload files into the system. So now I have the ability to create a project, add resources, add people. And as I'm adding people and resources, I'm connecting them, and I can add more people. Oh, wait, it's better. I can add people that are different levels. So we talked about, classify them. So we talked about this earlier, Scott. Say, hey, what about, I want to give access to this tool to all of my user community so they can see the data. So whether we're doing images or pictures, and in this use case, we're talking about speaker one sheets, right? So I can actually give the access on an email invite. So let me just have some fun with this. Let's say Scott at Scott Schilling. So if I was to send that to you at scottschilling.com, I would be adding you to the project.
Nice.
into the system as a view-only user. So basically, if we were building your one sheet, right, Scott? And you're saying we're putting it together, and
Right.
you're helping us get content, and we're grabbing it from all over the internet because you're all over the internet. You're everywhere. Scott Schilling speaks. You're scottschilling.com. You're Scott Schilling. You're just Scott Schilling. That's the thing, right?
There's a few
So
spots.
there's a few Scotts. So we look at that and we say, okay, now I've added. So what I've really done, Scott, is I've started a project. I've
Right.
brought in some information. I've sent you a form, right? I sent you a form, and look at this, Scott. When you look at the form, I actually create a form. I create a link, and you know what, Scott? You have this software, this link software. Oh, by the way, it's also an Elevate JV Global, where you have this
Nice.
link software where I can create you a masked link. In fact, I think one of your options is Scott's links
Scott's link.
/ something. Yeah. So I could
Yep.
go Scott's links / speaker sheet and create a URL link. And you could be sending this to all your friends to create speaker sheets, and they upload it. What happens when you fill out the form? Well, let's just pretend. Actually, we'll just fill it out for me because I got information in here. So I'll fill this out. That's going to me, and I'm going to do some website at home.com. And my bio, and I'm just going to go fast because we can put some other
Right.
stuff in. And I'm going to put which templates do I want, and I'm going to see what I had. So here's the templates. I hit submit. Oh my gosh, what happened to that form? This was a form that was in a URL link, a shortcode link. Where did it go? Oh wait,
Went
it
right back
automatically
to the list.
ended up as a customer onboarding list.
Nice.
So now I've basically taken a form, I've taken data, I filled it all out, and I've added it to me, and now I have a project flow. I know, Scott, you're impressed, right? I mean, even now I
There's
can
no
tell
doubt
you're
about
impressed. You're like
There's-
going, this is pretty
If,
cool.
if I was a recovering, I would be tremendously impressed.
So now it gets even more fun, right? Because now we have somebody on our support team, right? Because Scott, you and I are, as we're building this, we're not doing this. So what happens? Well, I've done customer onboarding, and what do I need to do first? I open this up, I take a look at the data, and I can say, I can add more tasks and some more fields. I can edit descriptions. I can create a checklist. Oh my gosh, it's just endless. This is project tool, right? When I'm done with that, I go, oh, you know what? I can manually say, I'm done with the onboarding. Oh, wait, I just put it over there. Now I'm going to have somebody review it. So now I'm in review status. Oh, wait, but that's not cool. I want to have a review status. I want to have a tag. So I can add a tag called review. And then I can put a little color on it because I like color. Create that tag, add that tag. And then now what I do is I have a tag called review. Why is that important? Because now I can look at my tags and look at all the projects that are in review status, and I can see everything in my project list on my speaker one sheets across all of my universe, 10s, 20s, hundreds of people, whatever the project task is, by a tag. I know you're impressed. I know you.
Well, I'm just sitting here thinking the people who love detail,
Yeah.
I might know 3 of them. But the point is, the people who really love the detail of this, it is pretty phenomenal to be able to obviously keep the flow in order and being able to look up where you are project to project at any time.
Right.
That's awesome.
So there's those pieces, and then I can see what's completed. And so when I'm all said and done, I go, you know what? I have one more category. It's just one more, right? I can type on my fingers. And I go, I don't know the category. Oh, this is something different. Oh, you know what, Scott? I got to bring this over here right before I do that. And I now have the ability to do one more thing before I build my sheet. And so now I can drop this in here. Yeah, pretty amazing. So the point of this is twofold. One, it's a tool that is available through our community, available to our clients who have the need to do projects. So let me summarize this because we really want to keep it short and simple for today. Because again, the goal is that it is not to overwhelm people. Number one, we basically have a project tool that works mobile and on desktop.
Right.
We have a project tool that is very flexible. The same user experience you have here, you have on your mobile phone. So you can look at all the things, you can look at status and activities. You can upload files, you can create forms, you can add people, and you can see all of that in a very easy to use user interface on your phone or in a browser, or on your phone or on your desktop or in a browser. So all of those things are there. And again, what we're looking for is things like this tool that let us see it on the different environments, watch tutorials, see product roadmap, you get support, there's user guides. All of this, Scott, is just another way for us to help us be more organized,
Right.
but in a way that's really efficient, but also is tied to kind of our core value proposition within Elevate JV Global, is the ability to create systematic or solutions that work simply and that are integrated. Right.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, obviously, we've got folks that anything from, like you said earlier, solopreneur to agencies and everything in between. Obviously, the agency is going to have a whole lot more projects going on, or those who have a more complicated project going on that need to keep track of all the different things. I can see all sorts of uses for it, and I am not necessarily the detail guy. I know, let that sink in. You'll find that hard to believe.
Let me think about that. So another example, just because one of our core friends and something that you do all the time, you're a prolific writer, right? You've got all these books. Well, Scott, we're actually going to take the same tool because it's so efficient and so effective. We are going to take this tool and we're going to put it into a book publishing environment.
Nice.
Because now what happens is now I can provide this information to the book publisher, the book writer, the author, all the different aspects, all the different resources, and see the flow. But it gets really better because one of these days when we have a Tech Talk Tuesday, we're going to show people how we can take the data from this environment and put it into a cloud-based reporting solution. And on your phone, you can click on a button and go to Elevate JV Global app and see where you are, your status is, right? So this is the concept behind Elevate JV Global, a fully integrated set of solutions where we use best practices capabilities, best practices products, bringing them together where information flow and data flow is seamless. Seamless is the key here.
That's awesome. Because again, as a creative and spending more time in that place, I have from time to time talked to publishers or talked to people that I'm working with and said, just give me the process. Give me what you need to, I'll write what I need to write and I'll produce, the creative, but tell me what has to happen in what period of time and those kinds of things for this all to come together by a specific date. So
Exactly.
what a great tool for many of the people that I've been working with over my career to actually be able to now wrangle me in a little bit easier.
So here's the beauty of this, right? Because we have a very specific relationship. We have a significant discount opportunity. But one of the things that we have that I didn't share with you is the opportunity is unlimited users, unlimited projects, unlimited what it was, the users, projects, people, activity, unlimited everything, unlimited companies, right? You can do all of that inside of the system. So really what we've done is we've taken our world and said, we're going to bring you the best of opportunities. And I want to close with this piece of it, Scott, unless you have some more questions or thoughts. Is one of the things that's our value proposition for us at Elevate JV Global is we don't want to lock into anything. We want to give you ability to sprout your wings, spread your wings, and give you the best of breed at the same time, not lock you into any one thing. Like, oh my gosh, you can't do that. Because what we do is create all these best products to bring them together. So I'm just super jazzed. This is one of the, I don't know, dozen or more things that we're working on that will bring opportunities to people. And what I love about this relationship with you, Scott, is your contacts will see this and your ability to share this with others and the way you can simplify. So I'm the techie, right? So I can't
I haven't
help
noticed
myself.
that. You're the techie here.
I can't help myself. You can make it simpler, right? And you can share, hey, look, here's how we can make this work. So in our relationship and in our business model, you're going to help us craft the right possibilities so that we're helping others help others. And really, that's kind of our core essence.
Well, if you really think about that, anytime that you're working to provide assistance to another, somebody is giving guidance to another to allow them to stay in their core genius and really work. And I have, again, multiple times in my career and multiple organizations that I've consulted to or worked with, have said, boy, if we had a flow process, because it's not always the same for everybody, right?
Mhm.
Not everybody, uh, the stuff that is so common sense, quote unquote, to me is because I've only done it for like 100 years, seemingly, you know, uh,
Experience matters.
experience does matter. But somebody says, well, how do you do that? You think about it and you go, geez, I don't know if I could write that down. But once you do have that working relationship and you do have something like this, you could put that process down. Quite frankly, I talk about it in one of the training pieces that's inside the Be Connected University, that sales is a process.
Mhm.
And if you do the process this very similarly, consistently, you'll have much greater success than if you jump around and don't do it. So
Mhm.
even in sales, uh, like this is a valuable opportunity. It's just, I don't know that anybody's ever stopped long enough to put it in that process sheet, but actually it made me think about it right out of the blocks because
Yeah. Well, and remember at the
everything is a
top of this
process.
call, we said that these are things that you do once you frame it and you get it right. It's a template and you actually save it and then you do it again for the next client, right? So you can rinse and repeat, and that's where we talk about leverage. So again, Elevate JV Global is about leverage. It's about creating value. It's that wine story where we got the best price value. I am telling you, Scott, I am telling you, this opportunity is the best price value of anything I've ever seen in this project space. Period. End of story.
That's awesome. So how does our listening audience
Mhm.
have the opportunity to take advantage of this deal?
Well, two ways to do it right now. One is you get a hold of Scott or you get a hold of me and say, hey, I'm interested in the Blue project management tool, right? And we'll make sure you get that information. In the near term, we're super, super excited, Scott. We're like we're pre-announced opening the
Yeah.
kimonos here. We're going to launch Elevate GV Global, the app, Elevate GV Global, the website, and all of this information will be there because we're going to make all of our best of breed products and services. And I'll let you close on this topic because I love the way you say it, and put it there for all our community to have access to and to even partner with so that you too can make some money.
Yeah, I think the opportunity exists that we go out and search and seek for the things that can make our world easier as we go along. And this is something that, quite frankly, has been a passion of mine for, geez, at least
Oh,
10 years, maybe even longer,
right.
to create a vetted, trusted resource network where the resources are there. Now, this isn't stuff that's there just because somebody's trying to make a buck off of it. This is
Exactly.
stuff that is there that we utilize ourselves to grow our businesses, to help our organizations, our clients, things like that. So, extremely important to understand that we go out and search and seek and do the research. And Lorenzo does research on the tech products in particular. I do things on some of the other concepts. And what we want to do is make sure that there's a place where people can come and get the right stuff
Yeah.
at some tremendous deals,
Yeah,
right?
save yourself some time too, right?
Save
Time
yourself
is
some
money.
time, energy, and money. I
Yep,
mean, that's what it
exactly.
comes down to, right?
Exactly.
You've got. I don't want to know what's inside Lorenzo's head.
You don't want
He's
to go through those spinning wheels. They're always spinning.
he's got years of experience in looking at these tech products and working with these tech products, but we want to come together and create a trusted, vetted resource network called Elevate JV Global, where you can come and know that if if these guys use it, it must be pretty good stuff because we put
Pretty
it
good
through its
chance.
paces, right?
Absolutely, Scott. Absolutely. And the thing that I really love about the mature relationship you speak about, that you speak of, right, is that people are now coming to us.
Right.
People are coming to us because of our reputations and our history. And this is a long tail, folks. We're not interested in doing anything short term. It's a
Right.
long tail. And what ends up happening is people say, hey, well, take a look at this. And we've got one coming up in the next 2 weeks that is a massive, massive game changer. All-in-one platform. So little teaser here. It's an all-in-one platform. I know you want to announce your next guest, but that platform has e-commerce, has network marketing, has affiliate marketing, all built in. Wow, pretty cool.
That that is. That's exciting. I want to see that show. Are you kidding me? Well,
Come to Scott Schilling Speaks Tech Talk Tuesdays.
that's right. Come to Tech Talk Tuesdays at Scott Schilling Speaks. And thank you for joining us here today. Man, how time flies as we're having fun. We'll see you again tomorrow. Now, you'll love the guest. So make sure you're here early. Talk to you soon. God bless.
Thanks, Scotty. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.